Hello everybody, welcome back to the Seercast. This is part 2 of the Prifddinas 2-part episode thing. I believe we lost somebody or other.
Siroki.
I think we lost Geena and
Siroki.
Siroki is in chat and somebody else left as well. But we have Runic Lord.
Saren totally wants to kill her ma.
Oh dear God. Jascertes.
I made that pun like 10 months ago and it was bad then.
Yeah. Then again, most of your puns are bad, Lime.
Thanks.
All puns are bad, but I had to resurrect that one.
Jascertes.
Heyo, again.
ERNJ.
Yay for meeting history being relevant again.
Yes.
Yep.
Lime.
What is lore? Go
Thorlah.
questing. Go questing.
Hello.
Geena, I believe, is AFK. Siroki's in chat. Fang.
Oh.
munch. Kitten.
Hello!
And Walter and Habblet are back in the chat. I don't think Hablet's here. Nope, Hablet's not here anymore. That's who we lost. I was looking at the call, Okay, I
literally brought a single pretzel upstairs.
munch. But yeah, no please. But so this is the lore spam part of the Prifddinas podcast, and we're going to go ahead and get straight into it with a lot of what Saren has to say, and we'll start with her memories. So there were 8 memories that were available to find during this batch. Devotion, longevity, need, companionship, change, exploration, exodus, and magic. You got them from various places around the city. Sometimes it was easy, sometimes it was a little bit more complicated to find. But
to make it short, there was one that was found in the environment and one that was found through an action. Just like the design doc.
There were 4 that you could just find around the city hidden, and then there were 4 that you had to complete a specific action.
Mm-hmm.
And one for each section.
Yeah, I think I've gotten 5 of them personally. I haven't gone and looked for them.
They were fun.
They were fun.
Except for that stupid bush patch one. Who would do that?
Oh, I planted one as soon as I saw the bush patch, because why would I leave a patch whatever?
Yeah.
Why would I do that when I'm trying to train farming? So,
yeah. I've started runs again because I want my 3rd spirit tree.
Yeah. But, my farming is completely irrelevant to the lore, but yeah, that is how you get one of them. You also get them from, like, pickpocketing Arianwen, and there's one literally sitting on a ledge.
There is one inside of a crate. There is one that you talk to Yestin for.
Yep. And
there is 3 others just lying around.
Yeah, I can't remember where the other ones are, but
I know where they are. There's one in the Grimoire one. There's one near the Elder Tree patch. There's one near the Traherne Herald, and there's one somewhat near to
It pretty much works exactly like the memories from Zeros.
Except they're not voiced, QQ.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
And it is a shame. Like, if there's one thing that I really wish they could do, is have voiced the Saren memories. I don't care if Saren herself is voiced, like the thing that spouts out the walls of text as she goes around in the voice of Saren. But, like, really, I do wish that they had time or the budget to voice the memories themselves.
Yeah,
so this is why you do most of your voice acting in-house, so you can just be like, yo, Raven, we need you.
Well, I mean,
not Raven.
But the difference between in-house voice acting and professional voice acting is very noticeable, though. As we found with the Third World Event 3. No offense to the JMods who did it, but I mean,
there was just
it was a noticeable difference. And
hello, I am a giant monkey who speaks like a small human.
Yeah, Mod Anna for all the voices. Yes.
Mod Michelle for life.
But yeah, it is a shame that these weren't voiced, but they do shed some interesting insight that we didn't really know about Saren. First of all, she is bipolar as God.
She is.
Yeah.
She's crazier than a mascot.
She is nuts.
You could say it is fragmented.
I own the account names of the 2 craziest gods in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you pick up the Saren name? With
I
with
picked
an alt?
Saren on my freaking quest tube.
Oh wow.
My quest cup tube.
Yeah.
I got Saren halfway through the tournament.
Nice. But yeah, also shout out to the clan for winning that. Yeah. That's about the only thing I've been proud of this clan of for like years.
Yeah.
But it's great because there will now be a random scrying pool reference in the
200th quest.
In the 200th quest.
Or an actual scrying.
Do we have official confirmation that we've won yet, Walter?
Not yet, but
probably not. But
wow.
but you were up by what? It was like 400 quest points by the.
We had 1,121 quest points, and the closest that I had talked to had like 800 something.
Yeah. I mean, Robo got 280 on his own. Like,
he got
holy
all the way
crap!
to Walgutted Sleeps.
Yeah, I got 234 myself. Pretty proud of that, but Robo, my god!
But he was literally playing for 10 to 15 hours or more a day.
Hours, something like that. Was like,
Jesus.
Like, that was obscene.
More.
And he didn't even sleep on the last day.
Yeah. We were calculating afterwards. He got 18.6 hours, I got 12.1.
Jesus Christ.
I took a 17-hour nap after that finished.
That is just like, oh my god.
And we didn't hear from Robo for 2 days.
Yeah.
No surprise there. But yeah, good on you guys.
Basically, shares in Red Bull dropped afterwards.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, anyways, moving on, actually getting to the lore. But yeah, Saren is freaking insane. And not in a good way, necessarily.
I love her. Can't wait for more.
Yeah, it's in like a rookie Zeros way.
It is in a very Zeros way, isn't it?
Basically, the moment Zeros gets
they're very much very much brother and sister. They're very much brother and sister.
We got a very different view of Saren before we saw this.
Again.
Here.
Oh, hello.
Walter says she isn't insane. She is just shattered, and those who use her parts have implanted themselves onto her. I don't quite believe that. I don't think that's quite how it works, but
you can see it through the memories. There is
some of that though, absolutely. But yeah,
she's got some serious problems.
Yeah, she does have some serious.
Like, now we kind of can understand how the Dark Lord developed, because...
Or, Walter, wait. Or it could be that those parts of Saren influence the souls that they were tied to.
Maybe.
I think it goes both ways.
Yeah, I think I feel like it's more of that way, actually. Like,
it's like the one ring.
These memories display her as a ridiculously complex character that is something that we had, even from the Zeros memories, we had no idea from the Fate of the Gods stuff.
She is easily the best developed god in my opinion.
I get the feeling that Zeros underestimates her.
So much weight.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like Guthix underestimates her, or underestimated.
Yeah. If we can somehow get her back to whole, she will be terrifying.
Yeah.
Just like the raw power she wields.
Yeah, but she doesn't do... But she wields the same amount of power as Zeros, pretty much. Maybe Zeros has explored his power more,
Zeros is so obsessed with being secretive, and Saren just will do anything to keep people away from her.
Yeah, maybe.
So
One thing I really like
if you were her enemy, she would terrify me.
Go, Runic.
One thing I really like about Saren's development is that we've never actually met her, like, her full self.
Yeah.
We've met all the other gods as their full self, but we've never met Saren as her full self, and yet she's more developed than any of them.
We've never met Timikin.
That's a huge comp.
Yeah,
Timikin doesn't count.
Well, he does.
Line, please.
Technically,
you are literally the only person here that would say that.
Technically, we have met 3 parts of Timikin.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically. So we've met, 30% of Tumikin?
For the most
No,
part.
we've technically, we've met the full Meccan, which is 25%, and then we've met a tiny bit of Scaveros and a tiny bit of Head. And
So it's like
So
half.
40%.
Go with like.
we haven't met Jonas at all. So yeah.
Works.
But he still counts.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyways, but yeah, so either way, Saren has some serious mental issues through all of these, and it's interesting that she's so focused on what would it be, like protecting the elves, being companion to the elves,
She's
but
like,
then
she's a mother figure.
but then at the same time, she'll do stuff. She has the section where she talks about that the elves are tied to to Saren, and because of that, if she leaves, they actually physically become ill.
And
Yeah.
then,
There was this very interesting line where that she just briefly tosses out there that implies that maybe she did charm the elves. She didn't mean to.
Yeah.
it was accidental.
Yeah.
Well,
In
they
the
mentioned, didn't she
Crystal
mention
from
that with the Fate of the Gods things, though? Is that
well, in there she said, I don't think they like me for my, thing that she says she has. In that one, she claims to be under the impression that maybe it's not her that's causing them to love her, it's just what she's done for them.
True.
But then
Yeah.
it suddenly
And her
sounds like
handle
she's
was
begun to doubt herself, like she's quite terrified that maybe the elves really do only like her because she has some power that draws them.
Yeah. Do we have any kind of timeline for like when these memories were created? Like
No.
that would be very
like,
All I know is they seem to be in linear order. Devotion.
Yeah, they're definitely her at least telling the story.
I'm talking more about Fate of the God memories versus these memories.
The memories were when she just arrived on Tarkat.
Yeah, so this is after her after her seeming to think about it and taking in the
This
elves.
is her after she's been to Gillen.
Yeah.
yes.
So she's been with the elves for a long time, she's been developing with them.
There's one thing I really want to point out here, and it's that Saren is a mother figure who is taken to the absolute extreme.
It is.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great way to and she's become a rich character.
Yeah. And then, but it's the part where where was it, that she wanted the elves to go and leave and go to Gielinor, and then she kind of abused the fact that if she left them, they would become sick, and while she feels like it was for the best, she hates to see them in pain, but she still did it.
Yeah.
And, that was just one of those, like, huh.
I think the biggest one for me was that the reason Guthix asked her to leave was actually because she supposedly did briefly participate in the God Wars.
Where did you see that?
She was defending against Zamorak.
Yeah. But this is like the first time where we've gotten some legit confirmation that she's really actually fought.
Well,
Wait, where is this? Which one is this in?
I thought she had left before the God Wars.
No, she was there. But we did know this before when it was said that Backstorian led the defense when Zamorak were charging down the...
Gordon, you're asking where she mentions?
Yeah.
That's one of the...
when you use the Zamorak God Sword on her.
That's what it was.
She says it wasn't worth breaking her promise, right, and it implies that she did fight Zamorak.
Oh, there it is.
participate
Yet
in the
I should
God
not
Wars.
have risen
That was
against him.
That was a big one. While we had some information on that before, this is her outright saying, I fought. This was a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this really explains why Guthix really asked her to leave. Because
And then it
she had made a
says,
mistake before.
and then it says the heralds reveal that Saren was kicked out by Guthix because she fought against Zamorak when he tried to invade the Elflands.
Where does it say that?
Thread.
Heralds.
That's from the Heralds.
That's from the heralds.
Interesting.
That was really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The entire relationship between Saren and Guthix is interesting as well. And it's obviously, from this it's obvious where Guthix learned how to unlock his power, and that's through Saren.
So, more or less, Saren helped Guthix ascend to tier 2.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Like, single-handedly, Saren allowed him to do this.
Like, she wanted another of her kind that wasn't the brother that she hated.
Yeah.
I don't think she knew that Guthix would become as powerful as her, or
more powerful. I think Guthix is significantly more powerful than either Saren or Zeros ever were.
I think even the J-mods have always implied that Guthix is the most powerful ascended god.
He's the most powerful non-elder being ever in existence, is what it sounds like.
Right. I
mean, he took Stone and Jas and used it for its true purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Saren minded him. That probably was not her intent, but she definitely seemed to appreciate the company of another being as strong as her, if not stronger.
Yeah, it says even like right in the change section, it says Saren shared her knowledge of the anima with Guthix, and this enabled him to grow in potential to a power that rivals her own and perhaps even surpasses it. And this was likely before he reached the pinnacle of his power.
I find it so interesting how much she seems to respect him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you go down into her text wall spams.
Oh, she shared her knowledge of the anima with Guthix. This is before he went to Gielinor.
Yeah.
This is before they ended up on Gielinor. So Guthix became infinitely more powerful afterwards.
Yeah, this is at least part of the memories is on Target.
I mean, like,
another one that actually really caught my eye.
I have one more thing to say. You have to remember that a large part of Guthix's power was because he tied himself into the Anima Mundi. So
this is how he learned how to do that.
He was the Anima. That was pretty much it.
Yeah. The thing that really caught my eye also, I was just reading through the dialogue and I remember this, but another thing to tie that whole, maybe she didn't, or maybe she did exert her power over the elves, was her randomly screaming, "I am a god, worship me."
That...
From what I can understand... Yeah, from what I can understand, the elves did not want to leave Tardiad. She went away from them to make them sick so that they would forget about their discontent, and they said, okay, we'll just follow you wherever you go.
Yeah.
And that was the main reason.
True. But that quote really caught my eye, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
she's definitely not innocent in this.
It's worth mentioning, before we go any farther about her walls of text, these walls of text, they do exist, but they're apparently extremely rare to find. Like,
they're not. I don't think they're rare. They're just random.
But you have to sit around.
I saw
like hours.
And saw like 3 or 4 of them, and that was throughout the entire release day.
Yeah, the entire release day. I think I managed to see all of them.
Yep, I was around for most of them. I think there was one that I hadn't seen on release day, and I saw it the next day.
But yeah, the walls of text. She'll occasionally just start talking, apparently, in the tower, in her room in the Tower of Voices, or
one more.
And it shows up in the chat box.
Yeah. She also does this weird thing with her animations. How she'll split into multiples.
Oh yeah, I saw that. And I was like, wait, what's
so the hell is going on? Dialogue circles around Tower of Voices. It's interesting though why she's always resting on the Eorworth icon. I originally thought she would just move to whichever one had the voice of Saren, but she's always on the Eorworth icon.
I have a theory. It has very little base, but it's how you know how Easton mentions that the Eorworth want to return to Tardiad?
Yeah.
Could be some relation to that.
Interesting. Walter, that's actually a really good point. Walter just said in chat, we are why she brought the elves here. She saw us. We are to blame.
Oh, that's true. We'll talk about that. Actually, we can mention that right now. So in the exploration memory, she says that Saren couldn't leave the elves, so she took off a shard of herself and breathed life into it. She shaped it like an elf, named it Haluned, and sent it to Gielinor. This is like as a scouting party to Gielinor. She detected an abundance of anima and also a drain on it, which meant that the creators were there, and that one of the humans Saren saw was different somehow, as if outside the normal flow of time, aka us while we're meeting history.
Yep, because you can see Haluned just cheekily on the edge if you pay attention.
it's apparently, what is it that you told me? Because I saw this quote in the thread and I was like, wait, what? I don't remember this. But apparently, if you look at one specific glade of trees in the quest, you'll, every, 5 to 20 minutes or something, you'll see a random elf show up for a brief second.
And if you examine her name is Halunid, and you can examine her. She's very mysterious. She says a piece of dialogue and then teleports away.
Yeah.
Look it up right now.
Yeah, and then it says this, and
so
Saren tells Guthix about this.
We knew the elves weren't.
It's one of 5 lines. Gasp, I've been spotted. What are these strange beatings? There are others in this world. These must be the humans Guthix spoke of, and we are not alone in these lands. I must report.
Yep. And it says this human gave Saren hope that she could fix the elves as if magic like that existed on Gielinor. Surely it would be possible. So what this means is that when was meeting history made?
2008.
Years ago.
Yeah.
So they've waited with this lore for 6+ years.
One more thing, just one more. The examine text on Halunid is the prettiest elf I've ever seen.
And the examine text on Halunid is the exact same, I think, save a word.
Yeah,
it's near her.
Same model.
Yeah, and pretty much...
May as well mention now, there is a theory going around, it's been going around for a long time, but there's even more basis now that Halunid and Halunid are the same thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much...
They have a connection.
It's almost confirmed now, yeah.
You find this hard to
99%
believe, but this is my first time in the city. I love it. It's so beautiful. From my earliest memories, the city, or at least what remained of it, has always been held by Ireworth. And even though I've never been here before, it still felt like a homecoming when I first arrived. So where were you born, if I don't mind asking? I was born in... That's funny. I don't recall. Didn't your parents ever tell you? I'm an orphan. I don't know anything about my parents either.
Okay, so that kind of gives it away.
Yeah.
It's not okay, but I don't mind you asking. I was taken in by the Ithil and raised as one of their own. They're all the family I could ever want. I'm always happy to enchant something for you. Isselman's taught me how to sing weapons now, too. Oh, you don't have any seeds I can... Yeah. But, so... no memories of a childhood.
And wait, one more thing. Halunid is the name of a Welsh saint, alternatively known as Saint Anger.
Interesting.
Okay.
Why is that relevant?
Just to throw this out there here, too, when you use the enchanted key on Saren, she says, You gave me hope that I could fix, but I couldn't.
Yeah, that's interesting though. And it's interesting now that we know that, and this ties back to the Ilyanka as well, because if you use the, Dragon Rider amulet on, where is this?
On the
Dragon
Saren,
Rider
she
amulet.
says, Ayaya, poor Ayaya.
Yeah, poor Yaya.
Brother, or was that another empty promise?
I like the empty there. I find that amusing. But it's interesting that both her with the elves and him with Ilyanka both were searching for effectively the same thing, a solution to a problem, to a race's problems, and neither of them found it.
Yeah.
But
very different problems.
Well, not that different, actually.
It's not really.
They're not really that different.
Not at all. Just
one of them was created. Saren created the problem in the elves. So
yeah,
that's what I mean.
It's the
each have had a
source of the problem is different. The actual problem itself and what they're doing to look for a solution is almost identical.
Yeah.
Looking for a solution, right?
It's a very good way to put it.
Yeah, like that's yeah. I mean, it's an interesting thing to think about though, because I mean, we all want more of the Dragon Rider, the Ilyanka lore. We want to see Hannibus in another, or at least it's some kind of looking for a solution to that problem in a future quest. Like we want that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And these ties here with Saren, so interesting.
And I'm wondering if after we do end up having a quest or something to put Saren back together, if there might end up being some kind of cooperation between her and Zeros, which would be a milestone in its own right, because you know that they aren't exactly on speaking terms, but I wonder if they would put aside their differences and work together to try and solve these two distinctly different but the same problems.
I think they could save the beings they held dear.
Yeah, Zaros might help if he can get something out of it, but, as far as the elves, I think it's a Saren issue. So, I don't know.
In terms of the elves for Zaros, he seems to care almost less.
Yeah.
The Illuanka, not the elves.
Yeah, for Zaros, from what we learned from Fate of the Gods, it's more like, okay, find the Elder Gods, and that's basically it. That's as far as he wants to go.
All he wants,
get his plan going. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, there's all this stuff to fix, but I wouldn't be too surprised. It'd be actually very interesting if there was sort of a tag team with Zaros to either get to his goal first and then start fixing problems, or vice versa.
Yeah. Like,
we got a research quest that's coming up. Has a lot of potential to kind of reveal where we end up taking Zaros. Is it all he cares about is finding these halls and shutting them down, or if he's willing to take the time to, solve and answer the promises he made years and years ago.
Yeah.
I think in retrospect, Zaros would solve his own plans first before solving the problems of others.
Yeah.
He would solve the problems of others.
To be honest,
if they had something for him to gain. And I wonder if he can find some way to gain off of the Illuanka solving their problems.
Now, see, my thought here would be, what if that's Zaros' way to regain Saren's trust?
Yeah.
He is willing to,
I think
if he gets something out of it, then he might try.
I think the blood is just too deep between Zaros and Saren. I think Zaros will try, but Saren will never, ever do anything.
Well, I mean, I don't think she doesn't necessarily have to forget what he did, but to realize that it's more of a realization that he did what he did for reasons that aren't strictly selfish.
What's further interesting is, even though Saren hates him, she still is angry at Zamorak for what he did to him as well.
Yeah.
So she still cares.
I actually don't think she hates him. Hates him. I think she's disappointed with him because I think it's more of a disappointment as opposed to hatred.
I think she has betrayed feeling.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's more of what I mean. It's a more of a disappointment, like, how could you do this? But it's not like an I hate you, like it seems to be with Zamorak. Like,
maybe a good way to put it is it's a little sister angry at her older brother.
Get away from me, abandon her, monster, ungrateful child. We have no more to say to one another.
Yeah, that's no speaking terms.
Unclean. All those things she says.
Yeah. And you can kind of get the sense this wasn't like, okay, I'm just, Zaros is like, no, I'm going to leave. This was a long argument over a long period of time, so it may not be hatred, but there is some deep-seated anger there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I mean, is I think it's not hatred like, we will never talk to each other again, we will never, there will never be, we won't ever cooperate. I think it's more of just disappointment until there's some kind of way to reconcile. And by what we were just talking about with the Illuanka, I don't think there's any way to reconcile without the Illuanka. But imagine a Saren and Zaros team to take on the Elder Gods. Like, what better tag team would you get other than two divine beings created by the failed Elder God?
Yeah, they'd have the best understanding.
If Guth's gone, if we want to have a hope of defeating the Elders, we have to find some way to reconcile the two.
Yeah. And I think the way, and that would be,
or we could resurrect
so cool if the way that they took this, line, this like quest line that will end up being the Elder Gods, is to do something with the Illuanka so that Zaros and Saren are somehow reconciled, so that they're on the same page.
They have 3 core storylines that they want to tell with the 6th Age, and that's the War of the Gods, the Elder Gods, and the Dragonkin, and how they said their goal was to eventually bring them together.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking Elder Gods,
and we know that the Dragonkin
and Saren are key to that story.
Yeah, 100% key. I think, I honestly, And we know that because Carapac is a key figure in the Illuyanka story. I can't remember.
Absolutely.
One of a Kind. That could very well be that you could tie that into the Elder Gods in that way. Like, there's so many really cool ties that they could do.
Yeah.
Yeah, now
it
it's
seems like
story's going.
what started out as a random Dragon Rider story will tie very heavily into the overall. Now that we know,
it's amazing what if you saw any of these 3 pieces of lore, this little part about the Illuyanka from Saren, a very brief thing about it in Fate of the Gods, and then
a single quest about it,
and the single quest that came out of nowhere.
While I didn't like the quest as a whole, like its gameplay, it was lore.
It was nothing but lore.
Yeah.
And
while I've complained openly about the gameplay numerous times,
because of the Wildy,
end result offers so much.
And I wonder, because when was that? That One of a Kind was what, February of this year?
That was March, the same month as the Gods.
Oh, it was right before Fate. It was supposed to be out in February.
It was supposed to be a February, and they had to play it.
And I wonder if that was completely designed. It came out, which brought forth the Illuyanka storyline, and then it was teased by Fate of the Gods. It's teased by Saren, if you know how to do it. I wonder how much that's going to play into effect in
what's
even
really
the first research quest.
Yeah. What's interesting here is that Raven was the one that did One of a Kind, and Rowley was the one that did Fate of the Gods, and then the two of them proceeded to work very closely with each other through the city.
Yeah.
So it's clear that the two of them were working together while they were plotting these quests out.
I mean, it's a brief mention of the Illuyanka in Fate of the Gods, though. So, he mentions it, and it's in the memories, and he mentions it.
But just even getting
2 lines?
Yeah, even getting that mention in, though, was just so big. Offered so much in the long run.
Yes.
It confirmed that tie before we had to wait until the city. Yeah,
I just want to see more Illuyanka. All the Illuyanka stuff.
Yeah.
And
all day, every day.
Yeah, it's the same. It's kind of the same as the Myrique storyline for me. It's that kind of, there's a problem, we need to go and fix it. And it's a serious, deep-seated problem with a very, very complex solution. And
surrounded in some of the most complex lore of the game.
Yeah.
I am still clinging on to the hope that mortals can do it.
Yeah.
Well.
That the mortals can wipe out the elders?
Yeah. I have seen the Godless, and I am not scared. I think we can do it.
Yes, I'm not scared of the Godless. Correct.
We have the main character magic on our hands, so obviously we're gonna have to do it.
But we're hardly mortal.
That's true.
To be fair,
we're freaks.
Thanks, Jascertes.
Kind of as it was put with the whole elf thing, we kind of already defied time in what was considered a relatively easy quest.
Yeah.
And that came, and it's just, I didn't get that connection. I do think I have the exploration memory unlocked. I totally did not get that reference when I read it the first time. I was just like, wait, what? When we were talking about this earlier in chat.
Yeah.
It's a small kind of sort of irrelevant quest that everybody's like, we want more of because we want more of that style, of course, where we're actually physically going back in time.
Yes.
Yeah.
But nobody ever thinks about the content of that quest, and this actually brings the content of meeting history into full view as
Well, it wasn't just like that, because then we got a lot of juicy first stage stuff in that quest.
Yeah.
That's the content that everyone focuses on. Nobody focused on the elf.
Yeah.
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 I think it's just do we know who the developer of that quest was?
Nobody was. Nobody was
history?
Of making history or meeting history?
Meeting.
Tim C.
Who the hell is that?
That's Jack? No,
Is
that's
that
not
Jack?
That's not Jack.
That's not Jack.
No.
Jack is a Tim, though.
Wait. Nobody was talking about the elf in the room.
Oh my god.
Tim's
Lime.
Tim's
No. Lime.
Let me find this. Go ahead and talk, Lime, or whoever's talking. I'm gonna find out who this is.
I'm trying to think of... Oh man. I'm also looking this up right now as well.
I know there's a mod Tim, so maybe it's the obvious.
Tim F is Jack.
Yeah, Tim Fletcher.
Tim F is Jack.
But there's no other
Who's
Tim
Tim
C.
C?
What else has Tim C developed?
I'm still on the podcast.
You are still on the podcast.
I think Mod Tim. Mod Tim is Tim C.
Oh
No.
dear. Why is there...
I hear some echoing.
Odd Tim is Tim C was said so
Content
epic.
by Tim C. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Soulsbane, Deadliest Catch. Meeting history,
Deadliest
making
Catch?
history, The Crucible.
Oh, okay.
That is Mod Tim. Yeah, that is Mod Tim. You're right. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, he did the Crucible.
Okay, so this is Mod Tim. What has he done recently? Livid Farm. Oh dear.
Yeah, it's
Poor
just-
guy.
Wow,
One of the
he's
most
been
hated
around
guys.
for a while, though. He did Soulsbane, he did the original Barbasalt, he did Barrows, he did Deadliest Catch, Dominion Tower, Dream Mentor, Farm, Mage Training Arena, Making Meeting History, Observatory Quest, Pest Control, Crucible, Tower of Life.
Huh.
Interesting.
Interesting, he seems to be on Old School now.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
He, supposedly he did Old School, Mage Training Arena, Old School
Yeah.
Progress,
And Barbarian Assault.
and Barbarian Assault. He ported those into there. Very interesting. I'm curious if he's on Old School or if he just did that work for them.
I have a feeling it's more he just did that work.
Yeah, because it's just a direct port.
We haven't done much. He hasn't done much for RS3 recently, though.
Yeah, the last thing he did,
Was the Crucible.
Crucible, and
And the Crucible was a long time ago. I think he's an old school dev
Yeah,
now.
I think he is on Old School then.
Is there? We can't go and look that up, can we? I don't know how to.
Let me find this. You guys go.
I don't know how to navigate.
Oh, I think he's on the Dukes team now.
Oh wait, he is?
Yeah,
Right.
because he posted on the Dukes blog.
That is right. He is Dukes.
Then how does he not have anything of the Dukes?
Because this is content by him making it directly. Because note how there's content by Paul Gower, John H. Lewis, Tim C, Matthew H. Matthew C.
I'm clicking those. One of them's Lunar Diplomacies. One of them's Mobilizing Armies. One of them's Wild Gothic Sleeps.
Gothic Sleeps. Yeah, I think he's Dukes now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Dukes.
Let's click it.
I wish it was easier to find out like what their mod names were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy with like Dave O is obviously Mod Osborne, and a couple other ones are very, very simple.
It still makes me chuckle how Mod Jack is named Tim.
Yeah.
Thank you for the necessary confusion, buddy.
That is
Right.
so Mod Jack.
Yeah.
That is so Mod Jack.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
why we're them, right?
Let's keep moving.
Yep.
Yeah. So, aside from that, what were we were mentioning the Ilyanka and that stuff. I think that pretty much covers what we wanted to for that specifically.
Yeah.
We definitely want to mention. Okay, we want to mention more about Gothics here, and one of probably the saddest thing that Saren says that's like soul ripping is when you use a piece of divination energy on her.
Yeah.
And she says, "Is it really you? I can feel your presence, that familiar energy. No weight, diminished, shattered, gone. Not gone, taken away, ripped from life. Gone, alone, broken. I can never be whole again." And Walter in the thread put a sad smiley face.
Sad smiley.
Outright. Wow.
Yeah.
That was so
I think
heavy.
among many things, it's implying that maybe Saren did fall in love with Guthix.
She confirmed it.
She confirmed it.
Yeah.
And she says in some of the random things that she says, what is it? Was it love? Is it love?
He was like, at this moment I knew I loved him, when he displayed all the compassion and whatnot.
Oh, and that too. I'm trying to find this stuff.
They clearly had a romance, and...
but is it really love? That's one of the random things that she says.
I mean, I admit I've giggled at that one a couple times, just because... But what's love?
Yeah, well, I'm sure that was the reference, like...
Yeah, but it hits hard when you tie it into its correct
Since there's no timeline on that. That could have been way earlier. Like when
that could also be referring to the elves, actually.
True.
But I think that's specifically to Guthix.
It's the first of Saren's text walls about Guthix.
Walter wants me to say that the one is that the line that Saren is saying, is it really love? That is from the elves. That's when she's wondering if the elves actually love her.
Right. But it's one of her. Oh, it's one of her random messages for the elves. Okay, never mind.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Thanks, Walter.
But then it is on Tardiad I found such beauty and wonder.
She was afraid that Guthix would be.
I met him there as well, another god, powerful but with a gentleness that radiated from him. He was new to his power, almost innocent in his divinity. I found it strangely charming. I taught him of anima, of the way that nature can empower us. He became enamored with this and left for another world. When he returned, he was stronger than before. In him I sensed a power that equaled my own. For a time I was concerned, as power can corrupt even the purest of hearts. My concern was misplaced, however, for in him remained the same gentle soul, the same God who wanted the world to be for mortals. And it was in that moment that I knew I loved him.
Yep.
And that's one of Saren's text walls on Guthix.
That gives me chills. That's...
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's really sad.
And then when you tie that with what happens when you use a divine energy on her, it really is, it hits so hard.
It's just such longing, this other being that she could love, that she knew wouldn't betray her.
And it makes Slisky haters even hate him even more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Geena.
I already knew Guthix was a good guy, but...
I think after this, Geena may be the only Slisky spammer left. Except for Zoink, because he's a scrub.
He has the name after.
Yeah. He stole the name. What do you say?
That's the only reason I say that, though, because he did steal the name.
He said he didn't even want it. That's the funniest part. He was actually gunning for
I'd rather Zoink have it than some random name seller, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It was funny. He was going for Saren on his ult, and I got it, and then he managed to pick up Slisky on his normal.
Yeah, I will.
It's a good thing, though. He's probably... I mean, he's been a Slisky follower anyway, so it's kind of convenient.
I can't even tell who he's following, if anyone.
That's true.
Lornab.
I think that's kind of the point.
He's following Lornab. I think we're all following Lornab.
Oh yeah, but they asked
basically.
Remember they asked me distinctly, would you give up Slistic for Lorna? I'm like, yeah, right.
Well, I mean, realistically, would I give up Zeros for Lornab? No. Would Jascertes give up Saraderp for Lornab? No.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up either Amasket or Saren for Lornab, sorry.
But Lornab is kind of a comic character for us, especially because we made the name.
It's funny because he's such a serious, scary god, but
we made the name, and it's such a derp.
Just takes the entire thing and just makes us giggle at him every single time. Because
I know, it's ridiculous.
Name him Lornab. And they did.
They did it! It's great!
I thought for certain he would be like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna do that. And then
love you, Mod Jack.
Him like Eldrazi or something terrifying that Prince Magic.
He is not an Eldrazi. He is not. No. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Lornab won the Iron Chew. So that means that they're in the 200th quest.
Exactly, that's why I was so excited. The Seers and Lornab into the 200th quest.
Oh, that's great.
Now it has to be that way.
Oh
Definitely.
my god, I didn't even know that.
You see, Mod Osborne, this is what happens when you resist.
This is what they said. There will be no Lornab lore. Too bad. It is now.
Just do it.
It's canon.
Now, see what my hope is they'll do a modern cult of Lornab.
Oh my god, that's too funny.
That's like the whole basis of the quest is this of Lornab sweeps in and kidnaps people. And that's
and they have a scrying pool somewhere.
Yeah. And then
that's perfect.
They're trying to rescue them with cults of scryers who can see the future and know exactly what you need to do to get them out. You just have to actually do it. Bring up.
And I'm expecting I'm still expecting my name to show up in a quest because Stu has already specifically said that he will use it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Osborne, we have written the 200th quest for you. Just do what we do.
I'm the dude
designed as a clan. And I'm sure Lorna that too.
Gordon, this basically means that you will probably be in the Zami heist quests. I think Stu might be on that.
Is Stu developing that?
Zami heist is,
I don't think Stu is working on...
Zami heist is Ollie.
I still want the Shinna quest to put the irate in pirate soon.
Well, when they finally get around to making the next pirate quest, yeah.
Yeah, next pirate quest. But yeah, Ollie and whichever team he's on, that's the, which one is that?
I'm, team 1.
He's on the Scrubs, isn't he? Or something
Ollie,
like that?
Ollie and team 1. Yeah. That is,
He's not Ninja, he's not Dukes.
He's
team 1.
Remember they stopped being like, some of them didn't choose a fancy schmancy name. Just team.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know who's on what team or whatever.
Team Jacob.
All we care about is that the Dukes have made awesome stuff, Stu is a god, and Jack is a boss.
Basically.
It's a game named Scallywags or something.
What'd you say?
Ollie is home.
The Corsairs. Something piratey.
I don't know.
Yeah. God, Lion-O. Lion-O's the guy who does the, Irate Pirates.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he is the Pirates.
He is still around.
Yep.
Hooray!
But
He
yeah.
hasn't developed anything like his official full name, like guy head in this thing. But
I have this thing in his mind.
yeah, he clearly has the greatest head of hair in Dragons.
Yeah, he does.
So yeah, the elf clans. Is there anything else we need to mention specifically with Saren before we move on to the elf clans?
I do not know.
Saren on Guthix 2.
Oh,
which one is this?
Wait, there's one more thing. Yep, there is one more thing. Will we ever see Saren Serene come back full?
It's Saren, and yes, haven't they confirmed that
I know,
eventually they will?
How are they going to
Eventually.
How is it going to happen?
I imagine that we'll collect a number of shards and just bring part of her back together. It won't be the whole thing.
I suspect that she's still the rotating whatever in the second floor of the Tower of Voices will still stay there, but her actual physical form that'll just be like an aspect of her, but her physical form will be elsewhere.
She split herself off beforehand.
Yeah.
With Haluna. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like she can't just have that other piece sitting there.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Like, they've kind of preset that up.
Yeah. She can come back and have no adverse effects on any pieces that are there.
Yeah.
It could be that she leaves that piece there so that the elves in Prifddinas won't die.
No, she leaves it there because if she tries to take it, Elfborn will bite her.
God damn it, Elfborn.
Here and start spamming her.
Yeah.
The spam is real.
Oh yeah.
But it was glorious.
It was glorious. It really was.
It did make me laugh when I clicked away from his dialogue and somebody was asking if I could give them the stuff. So I go to give it to him and he just interrupts it. Like, excuse me, I wasn't done talking.
He's like, I love that. I'm not done
actually
talking.
Had to go downstairs to trade anything.
He keeps talking for like 5 minutes. It's like, dear God, Elfborn.
Finally, yes.
But it's
I was
so
almost
funny.
hoping that they would enlarge his model's head, like, legitimately, so it looked like just...
They really should. I don't, oh my God.
That was
probably should have done that.
They didn't.
Just like, and not even like so that it's smooth, just literally just blow it up. Keep it pixelated or something. And just have it be this unnaturally large, like, it could be, that could be the funniest thing ever. Huh?
Did you see the picture Rowley tweeted out last night?
No.
Yeah.
Let me find this.
It's like,
God.
It's amazing. It's like this giant head coming through the floor.
Yeah, he was coding something in batch 2, and this giant head appeared in the middle.
I think I may have seen it, but I'm not, oh yes, I did see it.
The horror.
It is creepy as oh my god.
It looks like the chick from the Rhinos thing, too.
Yeah.
Oh my god. How did he manage to do that?
I don't know, but it's so impressive.
It is so creepy.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah. I do remember that. It is just like, what the...
Oh, yeah.
That actually looks like whatever the girl's name was from the Royal Rhinos promo, just sticking half her head through the...
It actually, I think it is.
I don't know why she's there.
The Rhinos have ascended and created a monster and put it in Prif.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Please.
Because isn't that the spirit tree there?
Yes.
It is.
Next to it are platforms instead of 2 cages. And it's in blue box still.
Well, they just haven't put in the cages yet.
It's probably an old picture, but it's still hilarious.
It could be an old picture too. And he's not all 99s.
That's true.
I'm disappointed.
Very disappointed.
Anyways, yeah, that is completely irrelevant to the actual lore though.
Yeah. Like, hey, that reminds me. Like,
we wanted to mention, Walter wanted us to mention Saren on Guthix 2. So this one was where he tells her about Gielinor, and he invited Saren to take his elves there.
Yeah.
And this is where
Saren realized that the Elder Gods were on, Gielinor.
I knew Guthix could not see it, but I could see those familiar patterns in the Animus flow. They were here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We covered this. Wait.
No, we didn't cover the part where she says, under Guthix's careful ministrations, the Anima Mundi was calm but strong. I wondered, could he keep them asleep indefinitely?
I like the idea he didn't even know that he was keeping them asleep.
Yeah. He didn't even know they existed.
Yeah.
Like
Saren's sitting there terrified that they'll wake up.
The only beings on the planet that actually know that these elder gods exist are us, Saren, Zeros, and a very small number of Majorat.
Don't forget
the Dragonkin.
The gods.
Oh, and the Dragonkin.
And the statues.
I guess the statues are beings.
They do exist.
But the only ones that actually, would talk to people are us, the two divine beings, and the Majorat. And a small number of the Majorat at that.
And maybe, 1 or 2 Dragonkin.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, I guess all the gods know they exist. That's true.
Yeah, they do.
And the Takar. But the Takar are, again, one of those, they don't actually leave their cauldron. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is, and she says, I knew that I knew that were it possible, then it would be through him.
Yep.
Perhaps together we'd be able to keep them asleep. And this, again, it's like a stab in the heart of anybody who liked Slisky that isn't insane. Ask Geena.
Geena. Someone said Geena, I think.
Yep.
Most of us did.
Where were we? Yeah, I'm still alive if you can say that and I hear you.
Yes, you are still alive.
Deep contribution.
So, context, please.
We're talking about how Saren pretty much said that Guthix was the only way that they were going to be able to keep the elders asleep.
That Guthix could have done something, but he's dead, so...
But not anymore. Rip.
I have a feeling that I have another little theory going on here where it is that when the Elder Gods are sleeping, they're tied into the Anima Mundi, and as they're sleeping, they drain it to keep themselves alive.
And he was replenishing it?
Yeah, that's
he was not only replenishing it, he was keeping it stable.
Oh, that's effectively
gods,
replenishing it.
Yeah. Another, when, for instance, basically when it's unstable, that wakes the Elder Gods, or when it becomes low.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and when they wake,
that.
they basically drain whatever's left.
And like he was unconscious, subconsciously, unconsciously, whatever, like cycling the Mundi so that it stayed fresh, so it stayed stable, it stayed
away from the Elders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would still go through the Elders, but the Elders wouldn't actually consume it. It would just be a cycle as opposed to a drain.
I do have this theory that the way that we can kill the Elders is by basically cutting them off from the Anima Mundi, and that basically starves them.
And Walter says, remembers that it took Zeros until right before the betrayal to figure out what it seems Saren knew upon first arriving. Keep in mind, though, Walter, that Guthix met Saren on Tardiad. Zeros never met Guthix.
Right.
That's true. There was a lot of talk about how neither of them knew the other even existed.
I'll just
you're talking about the Elders? Divination. Wait, what?
What?
What are you talking about, Walter? Zeros knew that Guthix existed because people were spamming about him. Oh, he didn't know the dangers of them waking up. Well, neither did Guthix.
Yeah,
Guthix never even knew the Elders existed.
Exactly. I have a feeling that that Saren learned through the extra time she spent with Ma.
I do
wonder if it is because of the extra time.
Wait, Guthix would have known that the Elders would have existed because of the knowledge that he got, but he wouldn't have known that they were on Gillinor.
She may have told him. It's a question of what she told him, and we don't know what she told him because that's not something that they've divulged.
Mm-hmm.
It would almost be ironic if she never told him and just told him to keep doing what he was doing. In that, he just continued to cycle the anima and continued to keep the world safe, not fully knowing.
I have a feeling that she never told him what he was doing because I highly doubt he would have been so hasty to sacrifice himself.
Yeah, true.
The world wakes.
Mm-hmm. It's almost a huge regret. It'll be a huge regret.
It will be, yeah, definitely.
She realizes that because she never told him the power of what he was doing and how he was keeping the world safe.
Of what he didn't even know that he was doing. He probably did not, literally didn't know what he was doing. Like, it was kind of, it just happened.
Yeah.
It was just a thing.
Guthix kept them asleep, and now that he's gone, their waking up is inevitable.
Well,
I'm turning divination. I'm helping keeping it in balance, so I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Now, I'm being serious.
And I do wonder if divination will play some kind of an actual role in keeping the balance
maybe
that
not on its own,
Guthix ended up used to doing.
Because I
Vent.
They seem like the characters that we would meet with divination, would have lots of lore for us and how exciting it would be. And then they didn't really pan out to anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still pretty.
It's like this whole Guthix comment, like how he kept the Elders from waking up. That just reinforces my thought that more and more, the Order of Ascension might have been onto something.
What do you mean?
No,
like a replacement Guthix would have helped a lot.
Could help a lot.
The thing is, like, they may have been onto something, but they were doing it wrong.
Like, Guthix was more than just, his body. I mean,
it was his physical being. It wasn't the body. It was his...
Him.
It was his
personality.
Being. Less personality and more soul.
Power. It was his power.
Yeah, it was
he
his
did
power.
Have natural aptitude, yeah.
I am going to try and design a Linebot Guthix.
And I'm wondering, but I do wonder, because the thing is, Slisky seems to know how Guthix got his power. Like, exactly how it happened. And I'm wondering if there's some way that Slisky can reconcile himself with everyone. And somehow...
I don't think so.
I think if Slisky knows all this now, I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually regretting killing Guthix in some ways.
No, I don't think so.
He probably is.
think he
because his character is that way.
Maybe.
I would not be surprised if he is, but he would never tell us that.
Yeah.
No, not only did
I imagine he
killing
regrets it in
Guthix-
some ways, but at the same time, he still thinks it's hilarious.
Oh, that's exactly what I think it is.
Like,
No, but-
I'm gonna sit back and watch this stupid adventurer and this crazy god scramble around the world, trying to find some way to stop all of this, and I can just sit here knowing that I was the cause.
Yeah,
Yeah.
besides the amusement factor, I mean, not only by killing Guthix, he let Zaros return first, that was his goal. But he may have also, if Guthix was keeping things in balance, he may have also paved the way for Zaros to get his goal to ascend to Elder Godhood, and, because that balance is gone, now Zaros has a reason to say, hey, I'm the only one who can save the universe, so you better help me.
But did Slisky
I don't think he knew
intent?
it. I don't think
Slisky
he
didn't know that he was going to...
It's an additional effect. So.
Did
Slisky
anyone
didn't
other than
intend
Zaros? Did Zaros even know that he wanted to ascend to Elder
I'm
Godhood?
pretty sure Zaros knew he wanted to ascend.
I can't
Zaros
remember.
seems to have had these plans before Zamorak betrayed him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just literally couldn't remember.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because Slisky seems to be having just a grand old time of seeing these crazy after effects of his actions.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
he thought he was going to kill Guthix and some gods would return and he could screw with them.
But I'm sure what
expected Zeros to be able to outright come back from those actions.
I wouldn't. I would think he probably would expect Zaros and possibly Saren to come back. Like, I would not be surprised if he expected them all to come back and then them all to get together and.
I didn't think that Slisky saw Saren coming back. I thought that was just completely out of blue because I think it could have been possible for Saren to come back even if the edicts were still here.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Because
Probably
there was no part of her that wasn't on Gillinor.
Yeah, she was just not herself.
Right.
She was not whole.
She was multiple selves.
Yeah.
I think
To put it for Saren, the way the edicts didn't work on Amaskut and Atmakin and all them because they're not that powerful.
And Tumikin.
The individual fragments of Saren are not that powerful.
So they're aspects.
Right.
So they could stick
Exactly.
around.
Yep.
Yes,
that's probably
Saren
her
pretty much
third
copied Tumikin.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Just in a much worse way.
I really am eager for some proper inquest confirmation that the aspects, the four demis are officially Tumikin, even though we pretty much know it.
But I will be sad to see
yeah.
if we're going to replace Tumikin. Rebuild Tumikin.
I
I'll be
will
sad.
Yeah.
I think
I'm very eager.
if they start polling these quests though, the desert quests are never ever going to win. They're just
I will
they're
rally
just
the
doomed
crap
to
out of
lose
them.
every single time.
Well, maybe once all the other quests are done.
Yeah.
See, I think
basically.
that unless they put Myurki on there, I think Desert could come out ahead in 5 minutes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame.
might edge it out. Pirates, maybe. But after the release of the two openers, the new openers for the desert, those got some really good reception.
I guess if they
Yeah.
promise Menaphos,
Yeah, that too.
people will be all over it. That's what
So-
they
Yeah.
have to do.
Though even Rowley knows that Menaphos won't be coming for the next couple of years.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I laughed so hard. Did any of you guys also listen to the Elf Feedback podcast?
I
Yeah,
did not.
I did.
Right at the end, where they're like, it was almost 10 years to the day when we got Prifddinas out, and then Osborne goes, yeah, so we just have to wait 10 years for Menaphos, and the entire rest of the group goes, oh! And you can just hear Rowley mutter, don't you dare.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
that was
great.
so
Good. Just the whole group, he goes, 10 more
To
years for
add-
and then, oh!
And then, don't you dare.
Menaphos.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I
Rowley,
know.
that is like Rowley's, he really, really wants to do the desert stuff.
When I was
mean, if it
talking
just
to him, he
keeps-
goes, the only reason we haven't seemed to haven't done it yet is because it's one of the more popular quest series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People want gods, and the desert, it has the desert pantheon as a thing, but most people don't know that the desert pantheon's a thing.
Which is why we need an emissary for them.
And it's
Badly.
also, 2 of the quests of the series are in dire need of repairs.
That too.
Yeah.
Florence was helpful. Just need some serious repair. Dealing with Skyboros is in a good state. Do no evil is glorious. But
Do No Evil is one of the best. One of the best in the game.
It's actually
Do No Evil's brilliant.
But
yeah, Do No Evil is amazing.
Is a mess.
I have a question. When's the research quest supposed to be coming out? November, right?
It was originally slated for November, but they just recently started. So we're looking at maybe December.
Yeah,
so probably December.
I have that. If it was November, it's well timed with Batch 2 and the rest of the Saren memories.
Yeah,
I think
the rest.
That's why they
by the way the timeline goes, the rest of the Saren memories will most likely be talking about the first stage.
Yeah. We have that we have the Halloween quest in October.
Yeah, Halloween quest is in October.
Yep.
From the information we have from the Dukes, it's very, very likely that Elder God research will be December or later.
Yeah, it looks like December.
Maybe the first couple weeks of December.
It's also very popular. Very possible it could hit in January, and then the next quest we get is February to March for our Samurai quest.
Is in May.
I mean, all the major quest developers have been on Prif.
Yeah.
So
it's like an entire team.
Except Anna, who is still on Ninja.
Poor Anna.
And has Jack actually done City-wise?
I don't think Jack has done much City-wise.
You have to remember that Jack isn't a developer. Jack's a designer.
That's true.
That's true.
That's very true. Though he kind of seems to flip-flop back and forth. Like
I think he kind of does both, but is primarily
the same thing where, like, he'll be on developer or designer for a while, and then he'll develop something out of the blue, and then hop right back into designing.
Yeah.
Moltaire did a lot of that. Like he designed content, and then occasionally would do an update to it.
Alright, so what's next?
Okay, yeah. So I think that covers everything for Saren specifically. Yeah. We want to briefly mention the clans.
Before we mention the clans, I think we haven't mentioned the
what?
The music for the city.
Oh, we never did mention the music for the city, did we?
No,
the music is
amazing.
Great. Music is
very,
very good.
I mean, it's not
music tracks. 11?
Another shout out to Mind here for the
praises to Abby.
Soundtrack.
Good stuff, Abby.
Streamcrafter's great. But
Alright, and on this note, I have to go.
Alright.
Good night.
Enjoy the clans. Night.
I will say that the music isn't what I like. It's not my type, but I still really like the music.
It fits. Regardless of whether it's your type or not, it fits.
Yeah, it's definitely
and that's the idea.
Perfect for the environment.
Yep. I am going to spend so much time when I get some free time, like trying to write out some sheet music for it, because it's stuff I want to play.
Yeah, it's very good. But, so we have, moving on to the clans, Eorworth has by far the most lore of the clans, which still isn't a ton, but...
And I really liked the way just that lore fit them immediately into the city and why they're there. It's logical.
We talked about this a little bit before, but it's really all regarding the Eorworth's, the so-called betrayal, or the civil war that happened among the elves.
Yeah.
Where they're a clan of warriors without a war to fight, so they eventually got bored because they were left to guard a city that was protected by a god.
Absolutely. Like, that sounds exactly like a bunch of stuff that I know specifically. When the military gets bored, generally they throw a coup.
Yeah, they go and fight something, even if it's themselves.
So that's why the U.S. keeps starting wars. Politics, hashtag.
Anyways. But yeah, the Eorworth, and then the Eorworth also felt that Saren abandoned them, because though they found the World Gate, they wanted to go back to Tardiad. Like, that was the clan that wanted more than anything to go back to their home world. But
They got stuck.
Yeah, they got stuck, and so they felt like Saren abandoned them, and then it sounded like they lost. It sounded like the Civil War started to find a way back to Tardiad, and then
seem to be seeking. Yeah, exactly that. Just some way home.
And then over the years, they lost sight of why the Civil War started and lost their way, and that led to the whole quote-unquote Dark Lord business.
I'm thinking that it might have been that Lord Yorworth, the previous one, may have been influenced by his Saren crystal.
That's a thought.
Maybe.
And that's like the one ring from Lord of the Rings.
Where the Dark Lord herself was screaming at him to take him.
Yeah, maybe. That could very well be something to think about.
On a side note, I was so proud of them for not actually bringing back Tyrus from the dead.
I'm still wondering
he dead.
I'm still wondering where Vextorian went.
Outside of not really, just he went northeast.
That was a good answer.
Outside of the forest.
He went away. Elsewhere.
Oh.
Somewhere else.
Saren does say his name, so he clearly had some special connection with him. Yep. But yeah, so we have the Eorworth. What else is there to say? Is there anything we're missing about Eorworth lore-wise?
No.
Well, yeah, there's Morvran.
Well, what does he have to say that's like actually like lore-wise, other than talking briefly about
he was
Kuradel?
Apparently the heir to the Eorworth throne, but he has since resigned. Since I think it's because he thought it was boring.
He couldn't do his Slayer base.
Oh wait, no.
He couldn't interrogate and assassinate people while he was.
I've lore failed.
Line lore failed.
Yeah, well, yeah. What a shocker.
Walter is carapacking in the chat.
No.
Well, the current Lord Yorworth, yeah.
Here it is. Morvran waived that claim. He is the old Lord Yorworth's nephew. He was raised as the leader in the clan and looked up to his uncle. His uncle appointed him the head of intelligence. His job was to amass the knowledge of their enemies. He was also in charge of interrogations and assassinations, and Walter noted that he has a happy chat head for this.
I did find that amusing.
That's what I like about this guy.
Yep. Because, I mean, the first time we ever saw him was killing someone.
And Morvran feels that there was enough blood spilled during the Civil War. He has always only preferred to kill whenever absolutely necessary.
Yep.
Cool.
And he was never a fan of the whole Dark Lord business, and...
That sounds exactly like somebody that's a fan of the Dark Lord.
He put Yeston in power because it would be easier for the other clans to work with someone that didn't hunt them down than himself. Some of the older Eorworth followers have trouble accepting him, but Morvran will keep them in line. As long as he supports Yeston, they will follow his lead, or they won't be welcome anymore.
Which is wonderfully
That is cool.
Because they all know he'd just basically walk up to them and stab them.
Yep.
Like, you ain't following our leader? Goodbye.
GTFO, Mang.
Yeah, it's a pretty sane reason.
And considering that he was in charge of interrogations and assassinations, I think he would be pretty good at keeping people in line.
Absolutely. It's his job.
As much as we thought that we would like hate this guy, he's actually an amusing character.
Yeah.
And is really kind of a likably...
He's a horrible person, and just talking to him, you can tell
he's a terrible person.
He is, but he's so amusing anyway.
Yeah.
Like, when you go do his Rush of Blood activity, when he's starting to tell you the rules, if you click out of it, he gets mad at you, and tells... He basically goes, no, my dungeon, my rules, and you have to.
That's great.
I did that the first time. His box comes up, and I'm like, oh, I'm not paying attention. I'm gonna go explore down here, see what's down here. And he goes, no, My dungeon, my rules. You must
suck it, XP ways to
I tried to do it again, and he goes, no. My dungeon, my rules. Trying to wait. No. You listen to me. Please, don't try and resist.
That's great.
Yeah.
It was very amusing.
Yeah, and thankfully the change of the Slayer challenge makes me hate him less, so... Pray.
Good God, Morvran.
Yeah. Now he's interesting. Before he was a piece of crap. Now he's interesting.
I think they did a very good job with this character, though. While he is clearly somewhat detestable, and you can tell how arrogant he is and how much he thinks of himself and his powers, he's still just such an interesting and layered character.
But also keep in mind that he waived his right to rule.
Exactly.
Like, that shows something about him as a character in its own right. Like, yeah, he knows that he's a powerful guy, and he knows that he had that, but he
knows he doesn't need to wield that power.
Yes, yeah. Or he knows that he needs, that the way he wants to wield it isn't by ruling.
He's
it's by
less creepy than he was originally designed to be. Like, they said he was going to be hiding behind mirrors and watching you in his Slayer dungeon, and now he reclines in his throne with his 2 pet hellhounds. It's almost more badass than it.
He's a boss, yeah.
Creepy.
Yeah, he's a boss.
You know what he reminds me of?
Originally, he was very much just this creepy dude that watched you do things. Now,
he is a dude that watches you do things while petting freaking hellhounds that are his pets.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's grown so much from the original design document to someone that's legitimately strikes some fear into you.
It kind of sounds like the way that Zeros was portrayed when they were talking about his pet demons.
Yeah. Acellus and the like.
Yeah.
Vren would get along with Zeros very well, and Saren would be very displeased with him.
And there's a no in the chat. Alright, I think that covers everything we want to with Eorworth. Quickly on to Traherne.
Yeah, Limebots.
Yes, this is Limebot spam. A couple interesting things that Lady Traherne says is that the reason that she is by far the oldest living elf, and she says she wasn't willing to die as she didn't see any heirs worth inheriting the throne, so she built her exoskeleton to artificially extend her life through a combination of crystal vapors and enchantments.
She would just die already.
It's just so funny.
That alone is so perfect. Like, you guys all suck, I'm just gonna keep living.
I'm gonna keep living until I find something that doesn't suck.
I'm my own heir.
Like, eventually, one day, someone will be born who doesn't suck.
In before us.
Not that day.
In before us.
That would be
That'd be such a lore fail on so many levels.
Yeah.
But it'd be so, like, I don't know, it'd be so funny.
Like,
it would just be interesting.
None of you elves are good enough to rule this clan. I appoint this human.
This random human that has apparently done stuff.
Technically, if you do 100 Corrupted Ore, you've already joined her clan.
It's true.
This human here.
We are of the tree herd.
What? I joined them first? What?
Rip.
Wow. Yeah, I can't even imagine leading an elf clan. My kingdom, Miscellanea, my kingdom is in shambles. My port was abandoned for 6 months. I couldn't do a clan now.
On the plus side, our Citadel's in a pretty good state.
I would believe the Traherne for all their ore, just like I do for Miscellanea.
Alright guys, I want you to only gather Runite, and then give it to me. You guys don't need profit, right? This is like the dwarves. There's no consultorium here. Just give it to me and I'll sell it.
I'll do stuff with it.
Saren,
she also says that Saren saw in us, in the clan, the future of the elves, and she honored their malleability and durability. So it's interesting.
So elves are made of iron.
Sure.
Yeah.
And also the Saren stones that you are mining, they're pieces of Saren's crystalline essence that have been corrupted, likely by the gnomes.
Yeah.
As corruption hardens around the outside of the stones like a shell, it is a sacred duty of the Traherne to chip away at the corruption and to allow them to be purified by the heaven.
I found it really fascinating that there's an Arpazandran gnome here, basically trying to smooth over their screw up with the.
Well, the while the Arpasandrins are continuing to make the swamp bigger.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
It's really interesting when we do get the gnome finale how this guy ties in, because it seems they're very heavily seeding that they want to do gnome very soon.
Yeah, it does. They are kind of seeding that, aren't they?
Since gnome doesn't require them to make like a huge skiller city and instead something that's hard to exist in, kind of similar to the way Darkmire works. We're not promised this huge, massive, high-level hub.
Well, yeah, I mean they were always hyping Prif as that kind of a thing, and they never.
In Arpasandra, it's an evil city of evil gnomes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Evil.
Because they're evil!
Yeah.
That is probably the one line that doesn't lead to spam.
It's clearly a city that we won't have an easy time chilling in,
Yeah.
It's not a place to go to relax.
It's similar to It's going to be similar to Darkmire.
Absolutely. So its existence wouldn't be as hard for them to create, develop.
Yeah, it wouldn't take months and months and months.
It's not a giant city. We don't need 2 or 3 batches for it. It's something that we explore. We deal with whatever happens in this finale. We have no idea where it's going now. The gold.
Yeah, we literally don't.
So they very clearly seeding for where the story's heading next.
Yeah.
Maybe in the finale, they'll just we'll end up collapsing the entire city so they don't have to develop it at all.
That would
work.
Because I mean, the first time we've been in the city, we collapse the entrance and we can't go back in. So I mean, that was
just take the timing down.
But yeah, and on the same note, we're talking about the gnome Glauron. He's pretty much the only real lore that we get in the Cruis clan.
Technically, we talk with the Elder Tree a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Anima, but nothing huge from that one.
The Arpasandra is a city for gnomes that see the quote-unquote greater good. And the greater good is the ability to prevent limitation of progress due to outdated concepts of morality. Who needs morality anyway?
Who needs morals when you have swamps?
Who needs morals when you have machines that don't abide by morals?
I'll also remind you, we have no idea what Glufri's original plans were compared to Glauk's. And one can wonder if the swamp was a fault of Glufri and Glock got rid of him because of what he did to the swamp.
Yeah.
So,
and why they all have names that start with Glou.
Yeah.
But who knows what the state of Arpasandra is right now? It's so mysterious.
It's mentioned in 3 places in the entire game.
And
this is, I think, the first place that it's actually mentioned by name. That's not outside of those, or that is outside of those quests.
Because they're only called the city elsewhere. Very vaguely. So it's still very shrouded in mystery, considering they're claiming that the next gnome quest is the finale. There's a lot we don't know.
I have comments about this whole finale business, but I will save them for later.
Yeah. Eorworth tried to pin the plague on the dark gnomes, but the Cruis found that they didn't because the plague wasn't real. Well,
that was kind of great.
Glauron is there to try and soothe relations between Arpasandra and Prif. He denies having any plans in the works with the hiding something chathead.
Yeah, totally not.
Totally
anything weird.
Nope.
Also, on a side note, Lord Cruis randomly just stares at the sun. Silly trio. I just thought I'd add that.
Thank you.
Note, I like this in the chat. Lime says, "Visit Arpasandra. Who needs morals anyway?" And Thorlah responds with, "Visit Arpasandra. We hide nothing."
Nope. Any mention of illusion? Nope. It's fairly.
In fine print, note any mention. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that pretty much covers what we want to with the gnome. What?
One more thing on the Traherne. There is a bit of rivalry between the Traherne and the Heaven surrounding their involvement with the Surin Stones.
Oh yeah, because one cleanses and one,
Mines. I liked that mention, actually. I can't wait to see the proper interactions when we get to the Heaven.
Soon.
Yes.
Soon, TM.
Alright, and the last clan that we have is the Kadarn.
Yep.
Deer. The Deer clan.
Yay.
Yes, the Deer clan. Oh dear.
Yes.
We have Arianwen on Lord Kadarn. He talks about his brother. We mentioned that before. They prefer subtlety and precision.
What's interesting about the Kadarn is the only reason they're relevant is because Arianwen is in them.
Yeah,
Yep.
it really is.
Don't forget backstorying though, but
That's true. But I mean, like, current times.
Yeah.
Their story is
It's all about
relevant in the Elf
backstory.
City because Arianwen is a part of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't really care.
Yeah, nobody would even, it's almost
They're the
completely
other
irrelevant.
fighters, but they're the ones who didn't try to kill everybody. They are obsessed with, their long-range combat, and if it wasn't for Arianwen, they really wouldn't be as relevant as they are.
No, yeah, because Arianwen's the person that we've been in communication with the entire time.
Yeah.
So it's that familiar character in a clan that otherwise wouldn't be relevant at all. Yeah.
And I don't know if that was intentional, but if it was, good job, because that's
Yeah.
that was
Yeah, because Arianwen's the only reason that clan is like something to actually talk about.
Yep.
And I mean, it's kind of a shame that there isn't much more to it, but
The Kadarn their big thing was that they were expansionists. They were the guys who built the Elf Empire in the Fourth Age. But now that the war's over, then there's no real use. They ended up like the Orworth. Let's hope that they don't. Let's hope that they don't try and kill.
except that they don't. Except that the difference between the Eorworth and the Kadarn is that the Eorworth always wanted to go back. They always had this underlying motive behind what they were doing. They always wanted to go back, so they were fundamentally different in kind of in like philosophy from the other 7 clans.
Yeah.
Whereas the Kadarn are in line with everybody else. They're fine with staying put. They just are. They're just not. Yeah, it's just
they're the ones who don't want to go back to Tardied, but do want to spend more time in the rest of Gillinor.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not about leaving Gillinor. They're about being a part of the full world. They are the expansionists, but through the world itself rather than just running away.
Yep.
Although, it would have been a good idea on the Kadarn's part to bring the Eorworth along with them when they were expanding.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
That
It would have been an ability to, the one fighters, there are 2 fighting clans, sorry.
Why just use one?
And only one of them goes out and it leaves this other one with 6 other clans who aren't about fighting, who don't have that experience.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense though, because the way that they portray them is that the Kadarn are like the surgical strikes. They go out, they scout ahead, they engage tactically, and the Eorworth are the hammers.
That's why it was so perfect for the Eorworth. The ones who had to go scout did. Suddenly, they're left alone with a bunch of clans who don't fight. They can do whatever they desire.
Yeah. It's also, there's one other thing that we want to mention is that the only competition for Arianwen to become clan leader was his brother, who is a master of magic. It drove a wedge between them because Arianwen was a ranged guy. And on the day Arianwen was appointed the new Lord Kadarn, his brother left. And
he is the Deer Lord.
He is the Deer Lord.
Oh dear Lord.
And Arianwen does not know where he is, and
that's a good story.
It's a pretty much expect this to play a role in future content.
Missing elf.
I'm curious if it'll hit with batch 2 or the tasks or a future quest even.
Missing presumed elf.
Yep.
Anyways.
Oh, MPD to MPE. Okay.
MP freaking elves.
MPFE.
MPD freaking elf version.
Yes.
Anyways. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything. Walter, did we miss anything? As we wait for him to respond.
Nothing
big. Okay.
Nothing big. Okay. Yay. Yay us.
We did it, guys. We did it.
Missing presumed death 2, Elf-lectric Boogaloo. Really?
Elf even harder. I legitimately, when I was standing with Rowley, I was asking him some questions about ports, and my opening question was, when is Ports 3, Ports Even Harder, coming out? And he outright responded to it as if that was the internal name.
I'm sure it is. It's, yeah.
I appreciated that.
Sail even harder.
Ports 3 sail even harder.
How do you ports harder?
By portsing.
By crashing your ship into your port.
Yes,
it just makes
exactly
the entire thing more difficult.
Come back.
No. You just make your port out of increasingly tough material.
And
yeah.
I know, I see that though.
A diamond port.
But yeah, Thorlah wants us to say that, or wants me to say, that we hope that Mod Stu feels better. Because he is apparently feeling...
He caught the
JMod plague.
Oh god.
He's feeling under the weather.
He's sick with the Yorworth plague. Let's confine him to West Ardone.
It's a shame this confirms him as not a real Takar, because
it also confirms him as living in West Ardone.
Yes.
I thought it was pronounced Ardugny.
Ardugny!
We were having a discussion about pronunciations last night in the clan chat. Somebody jokingly said, yeah, but what about Ardune? And I just go, Ardugny.
Ardugny is the biggest fail ever. It's so funny though. But yeah, so, yeah, unfortunately this plague isn't fake. So yes, we do hope that Mod Stu feels better. And in the meantime, we will all obtain our stupendous titles and wield them proudly, except for a couple of us who are scrubs.
Also, there's apparently like a list of people that we need to shout out because they asked us to, but I forgot who this list of people is.
Really, Lime?
Damn it.
God damn it, Lime.
It's your fault.
Weren't we supposed to shout out Balor last time, and we forgot?
No, it was Secure.
I was just talking to you yesterday.
It was Sackirth and Marie Antoinette.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, shout out to you guys.
So
shout out at you.
Them and everyone else that I forgot. So
thanks, Lime. You're the worst shout-outer person ever.
It's gonna happen again.
Me, if you need a shout out, I will write these down.
Yeah. When they're on Twitter, they'll be like, "Hey, did you remember the show?" No, I didn't. Damn it! It's gonna happen again.
Okay, so I think we've discovered the name of this podcast then.
Uh-oh.
The Elf City, in which we forget who we're shouting out to.
Pretty much.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a fail today.
Just a bit.
If only. But yeah, that pretty much sums up everything we wanted to say. In total, this is about 2.5 hours. So if you watch the entire thing, you're awesome. And if you're not already subscribed, you should. You should follow us on Twitter. Yeah, that stuff. We'll be back
if you made it all the way through, you've unlocked the Seercast title.
Oh my god, if they ever... Man.
It should be a thing this year.
It should be a thing.
That should be a thing. Watch all episodes of the Seercast.
Achievement unlocked.
Must be upkept each time a new one is released.
But yeah, our next one will definitely be the October BTS, which will be in about a week.
Yep. Next Friday should be when we get it, so we can do one next week.
Yep, so we'll probably end up doing it next Saturday, so stay on the lookout for that. Yeah, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on
Coming
YouTube.
soon to YouTube's near you.
And, yeah, so we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.